Hello guys, welcome back to the Blackout Tea channel. I hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful start of your Saturday. We're going to go ahead and get into some news, guys. There was two 15-year-olds, they are twins, back in 2022 that was able to escape the gruesome treatment that they were receiving from their mother. The children were twins. We're going to get into the story. I'm actually going to give you the backdrop of what happened, and then we'll get into why she was sentenced to the 45 years, okay? Please do me a favor, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification bell so that you guys are made aware each and every time I bring you videos. So this is the house that they had lived in approximately only 2 weeks when Zakia Duncan's two twins actually escaped. I believe it was the boy. He actually got a hold of the keys that she was using to handcuff him and his sibling um, in a closet or a laundry room, I believe. And lo and behold, they were able to get out of the home. I believe the video will actually display just a little bit of it. When we get into the second part of this, actually, no, I'm sorry, y'all. The first part of this, there is some gruesome photos. So if you're not comfortable with seeing that, you might want to just, click off for that or scroll up to where you're passing it by. However, this has been horrific for these children. I believe she had 9 children, but it seems like for some reason, it was something about the twins that just totally ticked her off. She wasn't feeding them. When the kids needed to use the restroom, they said that once they had used the restroom, she would actually make them eat it. So we're going to go ahead and get into this and see what's going on. Okay, so the mother of 8, arrested after her teenage twins escaped their Texas home and told police they had been handcuffed, beaten, and starved, is now at the center of a multi-state child abuse investigation. Zakia Duncan, 40, now faces charges of aggravated assault and assault on a family member with a previous connection, while her boyfriend, Jova Terrell, 27, faces a charge of continuous violence against the family in Harris County, Texas, according to police charging documents obtained by the Post. Police started to investigate after her 15-year-old twins were captured on video banging on a neighbor's door for help on October 18th, and the neighbor took them in and called authorities. The twins told how they were kept in a laundry room, bound with zip ties and handcuffs, and made to drink bleach and cleaning products. Once police started looking for Duncan, she and Terrell went on the run, triggering an Amber Alert for 5 of Duncan's children, ages 14, 12, 12, 10, and 7. Okay, so she had 2 sets of twins. Authorities later caught up with Duncan and Terrell in Louisiana, where they are now being held on no bond while they were extradited back to Texas. Once they were removed to the Lone Star State, they will officially be charged. The twin boy and girl, 15 at the time, are currently being treated at a children's hospital in Katy, Texas, a Houston suburb. According to the court documents, the 5 underage children who were the subject of the Amber Alert are in the Child Protective Custody in Louisiana. Duncan is also the mother of a 17-year-old son who was with her and Terrell at the time of their arrest. He is legally considered an adult and was allowed to drive away with his mother's car after her arrest in Louisiana, Texas authorities revealed. Duncan, her boyfriend, and her other children had just moved into the house in Cypress, Texas, outside of Houston, from which the twins escaped. Here's a few photos that may be graphic, and I'm saying that before I even start. Perfect. As you can see, look at this baby's hands. At the time, this is what, when they ran over to the neighbors, this is how they were already bruised up from being abused. You can even see over here. This is sickening. Look at this. Look at this. What type of evil mother does this or allows any man to do this to their children? Be serious. Look at these children. They're still dealing with this horrific issue and incident in their life and will for a while. Neighbors say the family had only been living in the home for 2 weeks, according to KPRC. The house is brand new and listed as being worth $600,000, according to a realty website. The home includes 4 bedrooms and a grand staircase. There is no record of Duncan previously having any job. She was just a TikToker. However, she was convicted of cruelty to a child on October 29th of 2019, according to court documents. The charges stem from an incident in Louisiana when a child was deserted. It's unclear if that child was removed from her custody, which children that case involved, or when the child was returned to her, as Louisiana child protective custody officials cannot publicly comment on cases. According to court documents obtained by KHOU, a disturbing incident also occurred 10 years ago when Duncan's 5-year-old child was taken from her school to a local hospital for burns to their genitals, feet, and other parts of the body. Here is her and her boyfriend, okay? And then we've got another photo of her here. Again, this is somebody that was a TikToker. She was actually showing her family in these TikToks, and that was the children. Doctors determined that the child, who also had bruises on his body, was likely scalded by hot water. The age matches with that of the 15-year-old twin boy who escaped her house on Monday. When police arrived at Duncan's house in response to the burning incident, they found a 20-month-old baby wrapped in clothing with its hands bound. The father of at least one of Duncan's children is believed to be Nicholas Menina. The 5 children named in the Amber Alert when Duncan fled all had the last name Menina, and he was previously named as the partner in a local report. Menina and his current wife have not responded to the post request for comment. Menina's Facebook profile shows he is active with a church in Baton Rouge. It's unclear how long Duncan and Terrell had been dating. However, the mom of 8 shared photos on her Facebook of the two of them going back to September 2029. Terrell is a wannabe rapper who goes by the name YGB Joker, but appears to have had limited access. His rap Facebook page has only 21 likes, and his posts on Instagram have attracted no comments at all. Before recently moving to Texas, Duncan lived at several different addresses in Louisiana. According to public records, her driver's license made public by authorities during the Amber Alert was also issued in Louisiana, and her family are also listed as residing mostly in Baton Rouge. It sounds to me like what she was doing was she kept evading CPS, okay? In other words, she kept moving to these new locations, hoping that she could start over a new life. Nobody would ask questions, or she wouldn't actually be followed. And at the same time that she's doing this, what's happening is she's trying to set up new spots and new places. I'm not sure if the kids were even going to school, but we're going to get into the news here.
And I'm Keith Garvin. Daniela Guzman is on assignment. A mother is found guilty of torturing her teen twins who escaped their Cypress home in handcuffs in 2022. A jury found Zykia Duncan guilty on 2 charges of aggravated assault of a family member causing bodily injury. KPRC 2 News reporter.
This is the story of the one. As a line.
Let's just wait on this to go by, y'all. This is very, very, very devastating.
Corley Peel joins us live outside the Harris County Courthouse, where she was in the courtroom for that verdict. Corley.
Keith, it took the jury about an hour to unanimously find that Zykia Duncan is guilty of seriously hurting her twins. It was an emotional trial, and at least one of the twins took the stand, describing that torture they face at the hands of their own mother. The jury watched this surveillance video from October 2022, showing moments after Duncan's 16-year-old twins escaped their Cypress home in handcuffs. They knocked on this neighbor's door, begging for help and to call police. Investigators found the teens had been starved for months and were covered in bruises and cuts. Records showed Duncan forced the teens to drink bleach and were kept handcuffed inside the laundry room, where their only option was to urinate and defecate on themselves. Investigators added bleach would sometimes be poured on the teens, burning their skin. During those closing arguments, Duncan's defense denied many of those claims, saying Duncan only admits to whipping her children with a belt if it was warranted. But the state's evidence was strong enough, proving to the jury the heartbreak and horror, and ultimately Duncan's guilt. And the judge says the sentencing phase for Duncan will begin on Monday at 9 a.m. Reporting live from downtown, Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
A lot of these children are being exploited on these YouTube pages and TikTok pages, and it's all for the fame of their mothers or their fathers. A lot of these children we never know when something's physically actually happening to them, because these people are starting to make it look really, really good, as if they're just making videos of how they're taking their kids out, how they're caring for them, how they're cooking for them. And it's like we're seeing the 5 and the 12-minute videos, sometimes even 20 minutes. However, once those cameras are off, things are literally changing a lot at a lot of these people's house. There have been a lot of TikTokers, a lot of YouTubers that children have actually experienced this child abuse. This was just over the top, okay? So we're going to get into the story. This is how she got the 45 years. A mother was found guilty of torturing her twin teens who escaped their Cypress home in handcuffs in 2022 has been sentenced to 45 years in prison. Zakiya Duncan was convicted by a jury on 2 counts of aggravated assault of a family member causing serious bodily harm. On Monday, she was sentenced to 45 years behind bars. In the early mornings of October 18th of 2022, the 16-year-old twins escaped a home in the 87th block, running to a neighbor's house for help. They disclosed they were enduring unimaginable abuse at the hands of their mother, Zakiya Duncan. Ring surveillance camera video from that morning shows the twins standing on the neighbor's doorstep pleading for help. The children were covered in bruises, barefoot, and partially clothed. They also told the woman they were starving. After seeing visible signs of the abuse, the neighbor contacted authorities. By the time Harris County Precinct 5 constables arrived, the 40-year-old mother and the twins' 5-year-old siblings had all left their home. Deputies said Duncan likely fled after realizing the twins had escaped. An Amber Alert was issued for the children, ranging in ages from 7 to 14, and Duncan was located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, later that evening. She was taken into custody, and only one child was with her at the time. She had dropped the other children off with family members. And Harris County investigators uncovered horrific abuse regarding the twins. The brother and sister were taken to Texas Children's Hospital for examinations and treatment. The findings were quite disturbing. It was determined that the twins were severely malnourished and had lacerations on their wrists, consistent with being restrained, and handcuffs. According to documents, the boy's wrist had blisters and were bleeding, and both of his hands were swollen. The girl was also swollen and bleeding from the wrist and her right finger. The girl had a gray plastic grocery bag, my God, tied around her neck. When she said she was using it as a shirt, the children allegedly told investigators that their mother handcuffed them to a dolly in the laundry room. They said she would pour bleach on them, including around their genital areas, causing their skin to burn. She is also accused of forcing them to drink dangerous household cleaners if they talk too much, according to court documents. Documents state the children said they could not remember the last time they had taken a shower and were denied access to the bathroom, forcing them to soil themselves. In addition, they said their mother would beat them with extension cords, curtain rods, and metal poles. Investigators saw bruises that were consistent with those claims. For food, the children said their mother only fed them mustard sandwiches, relish sandwiches, or bologna sandwiches 1 to 3 times per week. She also forced him to drink water from the supply valves used for the washing machine, according to investigators. The mother is also accused of forcing her children to take large amounts of Benadryl to make them go to sleep. Once, after allegedly being given 24 pills at once, the boy suffered a seizure. After that, his mother allegedly reduced the amount to 20 pills for him to ingest it at one time. The twins seized the opportunity to get away when the twin boy found the handcuff key in his mother's purse. He told investigators that he hid the keys in his mouth overnight until she went to sleep. Once the house was quiet, he and his sister unlocked themselves and made their escape, bringing an end to the phase of their long ordeal. Records show the other children suffered as well. Authorities said Duncan has a documented history with Children's Protective Services. Louisiana court records show Duncan was accused in 2012 of 3 counts of cruelty to juveniles after one of her children, who was 5 years old at the time, was treated for burns consistent with being submerged in hot water. The child also allegedly regularly slept on a closet floor with boards in front of the door to stop them from escaping and stealing food from the kitchen. Duncan's boyfriend was also arrested in the house, but court records indicate his child endangerment charge was disposed. It took the jury about an hour to unanimously decide that Zakia Duncan was guilty of seriously hurting her twins. During the trial, at least one of the teens took to the stand, describing the horror and torture they experienced in the hands of their own mother. During closing arguments, Duncan's defense denied many of the claims, saying Duncan only admits to whipping her children with a belt if it was warranted, but the state's evidence was strong enough to prove Duncan's guilty. Let me tell you one thing. I'm sorry, y'all, because I'm human. At the end of the day, I listen to these stories and I bring them to you guys, but I'm human at the end of the day. There's no way that I would ever or would have ever done this to my children. This is horrible. She is an evil person. She was getting money off of these children by posting them on TikTok and trying to live this extravagant life, but didn't want them to have any of it. When most of the times these viewers are watching because the happiness that they see in children's eyes, or just that they have that feeling or think that these children are being cared for. This is totally ridiculous what this girl did. Look at her. Look at her. I couldn't even go and look up her channel to even go back and say I'm gonna give it any views after the disgustingness of what I've heard these children go through in court. It's been really, really a hard time. It's been really, really ridiculous. She deserves exactly what she's gonna get or what she has gotten, and her boyfriend still has to go up for trial as well. We never know what's going to be told about what he did to her children. Mind you, it doesn't seem like he was the father of any of those children. Alright guys, do me a favor, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification bells. I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Mwah. Thanks so much for watching.